Hi, and welcome to Raising the Voices. I'm Janice, and in the studio today we've got Pauline Williams.
Hi, Janice. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
That's okay. Today in the show we're going to be talking about dangerous deeds and what it's about.
And what it's about, yeah. Well, it's a great name, isn't it, Dangerous Deeds?
Yes, it is. Yep.
And it's the name of an exhibition. It's an accessible digital exhibition. What that means is there's lots of videos, there's lots of photos and all sorts of digital art, really. That's been put together by people with a disability and Start Community Art, which is a community of artists. And they've put this exhibition together and are touring it around Victoria. So there has been a launch, which I think you went to, didn't you, Janice?
Yes, I went to the first launch of Dangerous Deeds down in Frankston, and it was at, now let me remember, was at a big, near the library down in Frankston.
Okay, big, like a community...
Yeah, community centre type thing. Yep.
And that's sort of where it's going to be, wherever they travel to.
Yep.
By the time this goes to air, they will have already been in the city of Maribyrnong, which I think is in Footscray. They're going to be at the Metro West. And they're going to also go to other parts of Victoria through 2017. So some of those... locations haven't been, sort of arranged 100% yet. But people can go on their Facebook site, which is, you look up Start Community Art, that's all one word, Start Community Art, and you can find out about the coming exhibitions. It's also been in Melbourne. It was at 50 Lonsdale Street in the foyer there, and I think the minister attended, so that was pretty exciting. But it's fantastic. There's a lot of different video displays, people's stories and art that they've created, expressing themselves. What did you think of it?
Well, yeah, I found it's really good. So if people want to go along to Dangerous Deeds and have a look, it's great. It's great.
Fantastic. Well, we're going to hear a little bit, some footage. This is audio of some of the video presentations that are there, so enjoy.
Yep.
Talking to a stranger. I am a human being wanting to connect with others. I have the same right as everyone in society, but need to fight more to make my rights respected. Why are you ignoring me? Why do you pretend I don't exist? If you look at me and start talking to me and listen to what I'm saying without being scared of not understanding, you will realize that we have much more in common than what you first thought. If you don't understand what I am saying, ask me to repeat instead of pretending you understood. Don't treat me like a baby and don't patronize me. I don't need protection. I need acknowledgement of my ability. Provide me with the opportunity to choose and decide on my life. I want to laugh myself and others accept my own body and explore my sexuality. I want to speak up and be heard, have responsibilities and control about my everyday life. I want to be empowered to overcome my limitations and all the negative perceptions. Achieve my goals in life by learning, growing, making mistakes, and fucking it up. I want to be able to move around and go everywhere I want to without any barriers. Don't look at me without my disability. Look at me as a whole person, because this is really who I am. I cannot think of myself without my disability. It is there. It is a small part of me. I cannot be separated from it. Having a disability has made me appreciate every single moment in my life. I'm always living my life in the fast lane by overcoming people's negative attitude and exceeding their expectations on me. I am not an extraordinary person. I am just an ordinary citizen looking for an ordinary life by fighting extraordinary circumstances to achieve it. Don't look at me like if I am an angel, because I'm not. I have the same need in my life as you do. Support me to fulfill my need rather than ignoring them, because they won't go away. What is my meaning of life? Making the most of each moment, be remembered and acknowledged, knowing that I have made even only one person breathe easier.
Tricia Maloney is a passionate disability rights activist who uses her disability to advocate for better access and a change of attitudes towards people with disabilities. She's worked on campaigns to stop domestic violence against women with disabilities and has played crucial roles on the boards of Victorian Disability Advisory Council, Women with Disabilities Victoria and Scope Victoria, just to name a few. Tricia was inducted onto the 2013 Victorian Honour Roll of Women for her work in advocating for the rights of women with disabilities. Tricia Maloney is proud to be an Australian with a disability. Part of the Dangerous Deeds Project. Thank you, Tricia Maloney, Jackie Ward. Editor, Shushu Zeng. Tricia Maloney,
I'm the second of 10 children born in a working class family, and I think the real influence for me is that I wasn't treated any different to any other member of the family. I didn't know I had a disability. I wore calipers all my life until I was 16. And I've asked Mum about it. How come I wasn't institutionalised? And other people who just had polio were sent to special schools. And Mum said to me, I didn't know what I was doing. This is my daughter and she's the same as everybody else in our family. I had the same expectations that the other members of my family had. I think it was when I got severely ill. I was working for police and I had to give up work despite the best efforts of me and Victoria Police to keep me at work. And after I'd been retired for a couple of years, I realised that other people weren't as empowered as I was, that other people with disabilities actually were being inhibited by systems, but also by attitudes and access to mainstream services and the services that I took for granted. And I think that was the tipping point for me. When I first started doing this work, I was on the statewide steering committee to reduce family violence. And we got on that because we lobbied for it. And we had to go and say to people, we're not on this committee, how come? How come our voice isn't at the table? So we've got everybody else, we've got the cold communities, we've got Indigenous women, we've got rural, but women with disabilities are absent. So once we got around that table, it was really quite influential. When women go to report crime to police, they can't do it because, well, while I was in police, I made sure we got wheelchair access. But the access isn't about wheelchairs, the access is about attitudes. So women with disabilities aren't believed. If a woman has a partner who doesn't have a disability, society thinks, well, there's a pretty good bloke. He's staying with that woman and she's got a disability. What's she got to complain about? And it's really not a recognition of those other forms of violence. One of the biggest barriers we have is that nobody collects the data. So it's on the form that everybody collects for their common risk assessment framework, but nobody uses it. Nobody does anything with it. So it's very hard then to get any funding to reduce violence against women with disabilities if there's no data collected that says women with disabilities are more likely to experience violence than any other group. Anecdotally, we have a lot. So our watch is collecting that data and publishing it so we know, and I've been pushing for that for a while. And one of the things that we've had in the past is when there's been research undertaken, women with disabilities haven't been included in the research. So Women with Disabilities Victoria has actually had to seek philanthropic funding to be included within the mainstream research. And it's almost like, oh, that wouldn't happen to them, so we don't need to research it. Well, yes, it does. And it happens more often than you would think. Sometimes people forget that I also have a disability that's quite debilitating. If I overload myself, I can't work. So I can't do it all, but I can influence. I can influence change. I'm hoping that the NDIS will free women up to have more knowledge about their rights. So we've got organisations like Valid and Reinforce who are actually empowering women to know their rights better. And I think that the mainstream police, courts, justice, health need to absolutely step up and say, if we're funded to provide services to women, that means all women, not just the easy ones.
Starry, starry night. Blue and gray. Look out on a summer's day with eyes that know the darkness in my soul. Shadows on the hills. Sketch the trees and the daffodils. Catch the breeze and the winter chills in colors on the snowy linen land. Now I understand what you tried to say to me, how you suffered for your sanity, how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they did not know how. Perhaps they'll listen now. Starry, starry night. Flaming flowers that brightly blaze. swirling clouds in violet haze reflect in Vincent's eyes of china blue, colors changing hue, morning fields of amber grain, weathered faces lined in pain are soothed beneath the artist's loving hand. Now I understand what you tried to say to me, how you suffered for your sanity, how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they did not know how. Perhaps they'll listen now, for they could not love you, but still your love was true. And when no hope was left in sight on that starry, starry night, you took your life as lovers often do. But I could have told you, Vincent, this world was never meant for one as beautiful as you. Starry, starry night, portraits hung in empty halls, frameless heads on nameless walls, with eyes that watch the world and can't forget, like the strangers that you've met, the ragged men in ragged clothes, a silver thorn, a bloody rose, lie crushed and broken on the virgin snow. Now I think I know what you tried to say to me, how you suffered for your sanity, how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they're not listening still. Perhaps they never will.
You are listening to Raising of Voices. My name is Janice Slattery, and I'm bringing you from New Wave Group, the New Self-Advocacy Group down in Morwell. This is to do with dangerous deeds.
There's a new group that's in creation. We're talking about the new wave sensation. If you have a grievance, we'll be there for you. If you have any questions, we can help with these too. Self-advocacy. It's for you and me. Self-advocacy. It's the way to be.
How are you?
I'm fine. Very good.
Self-advocacy. It's for you and me.
Hi, I'm Marianne, and I love cuddles.
I think we all do.
Yeah.
My name is David Romney. I like to come to New Wave, help people to stick up for their own rights, make sure everyone's got the same rights as everyone else. Doesn't matter if we've got a disability or not.
My name is Sherry. I've been coming here for the last 8 years.
I work at New Wave as well. I like doing typing and emails and things like that.
Hello, my name is David Walker, and I've just started coming to this group, and I'm excited about what's happening. And self-advocacy is important to me, is to make me feel better about myself, to help me stick up for my rights about all of that, and to help me support me through all of that. New Wave and self-advocacy is to help me with all of that and support me through all of that.
Think about a roof.
Yeah.
Okay, so a house needs a roof. Might be flat, might be chopped off at the sides. Beautiful, good shopping, that's it. Okay.
This is good fun. New Wave to support people to speak up. They don't have to be scared anymore. They can speak up. I was scared to speak up at first. I didn't have much confidence, speaking out. When we used to go to the once a month assist meetings with the staff used to stay in the room. People was too scared to say anything with the staff being there. Everything is pretty good now. The staff leaves the room, we come out and say what we want to say. Yeah. See, if you're not happy with staff at the meetings, you've got to say so. You're not going to get in trouble.
Initially, when we work with clients, we decided what things they needed to learn. For example, if they were in debt, we obviously decided they needed a budgeting program. And they got very little say. We thought we were giving them a say, and we'd ask them, are you happy with this? But we were so domineering, their automatic answer was yes. Or they didn't have the confidence or the knowledge about human rights to actually speak up for themselves. Since people have learned about self-advocacy and they've started to offer some constructive criticism about our program, people have developed the ability and the knowledge and the confidence to speak up. So our program now has evolved from genuine input from the people we support.
When we're not happy with stuff, I would complain straight away. The staff should respect people in the right way. The things is that they've got to knock on the door, make sure you've got privacy. If they don't treat you the same way or swear at you or whatever, we can make a complaint straight away. See, if you don't make a complaint, like when we had the staff meeting on a Tuesday night, once a month, Glenn said if people don't say anything, how are we supposed to know we're going to get better at our job? See, they're not going to know. Our new way of teaching the staff how to do a better job now.
That's where we catch the train to go to wherever we want to go to. Some people at the stations get bullied, but also they don't do it to me because I stick up for myself. And I always, if I'm going somewhere, I ask for help. And if they don't help me, I go and find somebody who will help me.
Because I've been a New Wave, I'm more talkative in the group, more than I used to be. I used to always be very shy and didn't say boo. Self-advocacy is important to me because it teaches people to know their rights. I didn't want to be in the box anymore. I wanted to come out of the box. So I wanted to show people that I can speak up. And not sit in the box forever. That box is gone. The first time I spoke up was at Centrelink when they mucked up an appointment. So they rang me for an appointment and it was not true. I went and told them what I thought. Because I've been at New Wave, I've had the strength to tell people like Centrelink they shouldn't make up at appointments that aren't true.
Treated with respect. Good community treats people with disabilities fairly. That's how I believe in self-advocacy.
Because everyone's got rights.
Everyone's got equal rights.
You are listening to Raising Our Voices. I'm Janice, and today's show you've been listening to the summer edition, The Dangerous Deeds. For more information on Dangerous Deeds, you can look up Facebook.com/Start Community Start. Thanks for listening to Raising Our Voices on 8:55 on the radio dial 3CR.
Able-bodied Australia does not realise that people with disabilities across the board are being discriminated against. Then the government to demand that we go out and get a job without removing the disincentives like the lack of access to transport and community infrastructure, without providing accessible buildings that can provide barrier-free employment. I'm not getting a fair go, and I don't like it, and I'm saying so.
You're listening to 3CR, 8:55 on the AM dial.